Hello and welcome. Here are reasons to hopes for moms who are required to co parent with a narcissistic ex or in a custody battle with a narcissist. Hi, I'm author Grace Rolson. I've written 6 books for moms by now. I have over 100 videos of my tips, tools, and strategies. I'm here to encourage, educate, and empower the safe, loving mom. So if that's you, stay tuned because there are many reasons to hope, and all you need is a tiny bit. So, welcome to my work. I just want to do a quick disclaimer because I'm not a lawyer. I'm a mom survivor. This is my shared survivor wisdom. You can pause this, read the whole disclaimer. It's not direct advice. Every case is different. I'm not a therapist, so please listen to your lawyer or get a different legal perspective. If you don't like the lawyer you have, get that therapist or DV counselor or someone who's in your corner, like a custody coach. This is my shared survivor wisdom. Take what you like, leave the rest. If you are ready and willing to learn and do the self work required, I'm here to teach, coach, and mentor. I say learn all you can because knowledge is power, and we often feel so powerless. In a case where our children are subject to narcissistic abuse and we are subject to post separation abuse, what I call co parenting abuse. My background is loving and leaving an alcoholic. Wrote several books about breaking trauma bonds, dealing with my codependency, getting myself into recovery. And then I went on to fight in family court to try to protect our only child. And as you know, there was some wins and losses in there. And I teach now. I tell my story openly in a pen name to give you hope. There was a lot of change, actually the judge wasn't the one always in charge, although the judge was in charge of our case for a big period of time. I believe there were higher powers even above that, and I started learning different skills and tools to endure it and then transform it and overcome it. So welcome to my work. I say 1% hope is all you need to endure this and to have a positive impact and influence on your case. I'm not saying that you can change the narcissist, but the little bits of change in us, even if you're going to forgive yourself 1%, even if you're going to be 1% less angry, even if you're going to hold on to 1% of hope that your child will be okay. There's reasons for hope because everything changes. Our children grow up; they will become adults. So, if they're young children, our goal is to give them roots and wings, stability, a foundation, support, and then the ability to cope and deal with all the different unfairness and justice in life. The narcissistic father they have isn't going to be the only narcissist they come into contact with. That's what I tell moms in my private coaching. So when they learn strategies and they experience adults that have narcissistic traits and tendencies and how cold and callous it can be, they're learning what else is out there. And our job is to help them strategize to survive and navigate around narcissists and toxic people and how to self protect and self preserve. And we have that 1% hope that their survival strategies, their skills, their smarts, their instincts will stay kicked in and ready to self protect against toxic people out in life. So, I say we need only the tiniest amount of hope to stay positive for our children, and a positive attitude is so helpful. So, how can you hold on to some hope? I know some people have used Bible quotes that's about faith being as small as a mustard seed can be all you need. It's talking about the tiniest thing. If you plant that in the mind of the child, that you and your team of lawyers are doing what you need, or you and your team or the adults on the case are doing all they can, that little bit of hope can help them endure a really hard time. And just know that we are going to grow through this. We don't just go through this. Our children are going to grow through this, and we can come out smarter and stronger than before. Our children will grow up, and being their mom, we will always be their mom. If you've been removed from the child's life from some injustice, some betrayals, narcissistic post-separation abuse, um, children can come back to you as an adult. You might just hold on to that hope, or a professional might see through this, offer a different opinion. You might get a different lawyer. You might heal enough to really step up and interview other attorneys, or you might get into a program of recovery like Codependence Anonymous and really work that program, get a mentor, get a sponsor. Just know that it starts with us. Like they say, the change we want to see begins with us. And I never thought the narcissist would ever negotiate with me. He was anti-negotiating with me because we were pitted as enemies in the family court, which that's how the legal system can be set up. And it's unfortunate because then the narcissist will not negotiate with somebody they think is the enemy. They're already overly entitled, and don't like to compromise. They just want to win. And, the only ones that win in family court, as my lawyer reminded me, are the lawyers who make money. And he was one of the good ones who didn't take all my money and was taking me mostly as a pro bono client for 6 years, taking my crisis phone calls of a high conflict case with a crazy man doing all kinds of horrible things. Definitely not a co-parent to co-parent with. So they asked me to do, the impossible, co-parent with an ex who's hostile and hateful and full of revenge and is using the child as weapons and a pawn. That all changed when I said, is there a third way? And I said I didn't want to leave my child behind. It was a thought once or twice because of how much post-separation abuse, how much character assassination, false claims, trying to get me in trouble, in criminal trouble and legal trouble and tax trouble, all the ways that the vengeful, pathologically jealous, paranoid narcissist was trying to, put me under control and neutralize the threat. I had to learn how to endure that and navigate around the narcissist, parallel parent. And then I asked for a third way because I didn't want to leave my child behind. And I also couldn't fight to the bitter end because there was only financial devastation and I could only go so far with the lawyers that I could find. So there was a third way, and that's what this new book is. This is my newest wisdom for ending the co-parenting war in a custody battle with a narcissist so you can heal and be able to help your child. That's the bottom line. Can we help our child? Can we heal? The bottom line shouldn't be beating, defeating, destroying, annihilating a narcissist. It should be, can we heal fully from narcissistic abuse, legal abuse, post-separation abuse, and stop being abused? And can we get our children into adulthood safely with the least amount of childhood trauma? Which is why I teach about taking the unfairness and the extra parenting responsibilities and time and not poking and prodding and pushing a narcissist to get them to do something they don't want to do. I teach a lot of this third middle way, and it is very high level stuff because you can't have an ego in it. Can't be an ego battle. Can't be in the tug of war and the push pull. Your motives matter. So the motives and the goals have to be a healthy, happy, safe child, a protected child, and preventing child abuse and being safe as a mom, that we're not going up against our ex or being put in the position of as an adversary of our ex by courts and lawyers and stuff. We have to learn how to say, okay, we will share, drop the rope, and find this middle way, which is using skillful means. So if you don't know what skillful means, I teach it in the Tame the Narcissist, We basically learn to talk to people at the level that they're at and understand they don't think like us. And being confused by them, shocked by them, means we didn't know what a narcissist is or was. So we have to learn what they are, how they think. And when we talk to people like that, we talk to the level they hear. And we have to see the dynamic of how we're in this him against us dynamic and how to shift that, stop being a target of blame. So if you want a better outcome, you want to know your children are going to grow up safely into mature adults that still love you and speak to you as a mom, 1% hope is all you need. I'm not saying that you should go in with 1% hope to a custody battle without a lawyer and hope the judge hears you. That's not what I mean. Because I've seen that. I've seen moms go in without a strong case, without putting in pillars of support, think it's a straight line to a judge, and like me, learn from that mistake that not all your evidence gets reviewed. So, documenting strategically and having a list of things that you want to ask for leverage, it's all in my newest two books, Tame the Narcissist and Wisdom for Ending the Co-Parenting War. So, today, the third middle way, it's between totally leaving the child and letting go of everything. And the other one is fighting, fighting, fighting. It's reducing all that black and white thinking and saying, okay, I have to live up the middle, which is a whole different path that has to be carved and it sort of meanders like a stream. Oh, okay. This is a hot button. You steer around it because I teach about disarming, neutralizing, and de escalating situations and not putting drama and getting caught in the drama, trauma, and chaos that a narcissist likes to kick up. Learn to be the easygoing, relaxed parent who just has fun with the child and can play with the child and meet the child's basic needs, maybe a little bit more with some buffers, boundaries, and protections like therapists and mentors. Um, so if learning a middle way, a third way, and 1% hope is for you, that you can heal from all of the wounding. And sometimes family court is the second abuser because it uh, they don't realize that what the damage they're doing. But if you also think about how powerful 1% can be, think about 1 degree. Like if you come up from that zero line, that baseline, you just come up 1 degree and then start going out from that middle. Eventually, that will be a very big change going out. So, that little 1 degree shift, maybe it's in your thinking, maybe it's in your heart. Maybe you need just to find a 0.01% hope. A lot can change in the blink of an eye. I didn't say that. Things do change in the blink of an eye. Things can be very surprising how much they can change. I've seen moms get really low and think that's it forever, they're done, but that's nothing is forever. Impermanence is like a universal law. The children won't be 2 years old their whole lives. They won't be babies their whole lives. They'll be able to walk and talk. So, if you're in the US or other countries that have laws and governing systems and education and medical care, there is reason to hope if your child's not starving. If you're okay, a lot of times I see moms just take care of themselves, and through a mom who's healed, supported, healthy, happy, children really do um, directly benefit from that. So if you can heal, if you can learn, if you can grow through this, there is that 1% hope for you. I want to share the message that I went from losing all my rights to my child, all legal rights in 2020, to having it all restored and being able to make all the decisions, because I'm no longer in that power struggle. I'm not in a legal battle fighting against my ex, his parenting or lack thereof. I'm no longer fighting. And I never thought we would stop. And I never thought he would negotiate. But I learned to stop being the target of blame. So, hope that you can learn something through this and that you can change. It's very hard to change, which is why I often say find a recovery program that has 12 steps. Work the steps with mentors. There's all kinds. For me, my ex was an alcoholic, so I had Al-Anon, which was Friends and Family of Alcoholics group, worldwide, free video and phone meetings every hour of the day if you go online. Same thing with Codependence Anonymous or Adult Children of Alcoholics and Dysfunctional Families Anonymous. All those programs can be so helpful. I have a video on, places to look for support. A DV agency, they often see abusers. Narcissists tend to be abusers, and abusers tend to abuse. So, if you notice that he's an abuser, maybe a local DV agency can help for post separation abuse. So, have some hope that there's help out there for you. If it's not in your immediate area, there's national hotlines, there's worldwide programs. And the hope really is in our healing and understanding and our shifts. I believe, we can be the change that we want to see. So now I don't have any of the problems, lack of child support, lack of cooperation, lack of communication. I don't have the problems when he started communicating because the court ordered him to, and 8 nasty messages a day. I don't get any. Everything's okay. Yep, fine. That's how I am too. So have hope that when you learn some of this, it can be very helpful. That learning as you go is sometimes the only way to learn. So, what are you learning right now? You can see that something doesn't work. Write it down so that you can change direction. Learn about that dynamic of the target of blame. Learn about narcissists. Don't spend all your days, but if you know the narcissist, you know what they're like, you can adjust accordingly. So, being able to adapt is a key survival skill. And think about that that line. If you've been going along, it's bumpy, you're not getting anywhere, it's horrible, just come up off that line a little bit and notice we're going up to better thoughts, higher perspectives. Children grow up, we can heal, we will be different people in 10 years. There will be another chapter of our lives in 10 years. So we have to hang in there as moms. And I say this to all the moms who feel like giving up, who have lost children, who've lost hope. We never stop being a mom. And even in my age, I still rely on my mom for certain things. And so I say, hang in there. Your children will have children or dogs or cats. You'll have grandbabies or grandpups or grandkittens. And you might get the phone call to help babysit. Like children, I believe, need healthy, loving moms their whole lives. And so stay in there. Just because a narcissist doesn't want you around doesn't mean you aren't entitled to breathe air, take up space, and be a mom. Um, Even the family courts will go for parenting rights. Look at what they'll do for fathers who just show up and want to be in the child's life, even though he hasn't been, even though he doesn't pay. Often courts will bend over backwards to give fathers access to children that they don't seem to care about. So just know that the mom, you as a mom, is so, so, so important to this child who has a narcissistic parent. Staying alive, staying available, being smart, focusing on your healing, getting representation. Hang in there. That's what I want to say today. I've seen a lot in the news. I'm part of a lot of coalitions. It breaks my heart. I wrote my first book for a local mom who lost her battle in family court, but those boys still need a mom, and she's not here anymore. So hold on to hope. Be that mom that hangs in there, even if you have no rights, no power. Believe you can stage a comeback like my first book. You may not be here having, needing to end a battle with the narcissist. You may need to pick up my books, Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, 7 Stealth Rules to Stay Sane, work on your healing, work on your sanity so you can show up differently to family court or professionals in the courts. Then my second is How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court and Win. Sometimes peace is only found on the other side of war. There's ways to stand up for yourself or petition for your rights or have a lawyer advocate for you so that you're not doing all that work. Sometimes you have to hand that over and just work on your healing and being a mom. So welcome to my work. You're welcome to come to my website and read some of my articles and blogs for free. I have a lot of guides. I believe we can break free of codependency forever. I have a new book, So You Love the Narcissist, out. I have all 6 books for moms on Amazon. You can support me as a self-published author. And just know you're not alone. There's a lot of grief. And just because we're grieving doesn't mean we can't hold on to hope. For any of you moms out there who have suffered severe losses and horrible outcome cases in family court, or you're struggling with a child that's rejecting you, my heart breaks for you too. People just don't know any better. However, people's perspectives can change when the truth is revealed, and just have hope that the truth does seem to come out. I mean, it can be buried for decades, but when it comes out into the light, it can be very enlightening, and people do have the capacity to forgive, move on, and reconcile. So I also believe moms can stage a comeback, like my first book says. Welcome to my work. If you want my free newsletter, subscribe on my Substack. It's free. And I have a podcast on Spotify. You can find those previous episodes and my YouTube channel. Be willing to learn the lesson in all of this. Have hope that you can understand your part in any dynamic and do that 1-degree shift and hold on to that 1% hope. So keep learning, healing, and growing, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember to like and subscribe so that you can get more free videos. Thanks so much for watching.